Hey, what's going on? Doug Cunnington here, and in this success story interview, I talked to Adrian. Adrian came back to talk to me because he's now making about $600 per month. When he first interviewed with me, he was making about $100 a month. Now, Adrian is a success story for Amazon affiliate sites, of course. He's also a student in five-figure niche site, and he's put in, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I want you to know that while he is a student, you can also learn a lot just from all my free materials, so don't feel pressure. You have to, get the course or anything like that. I think I have over 700 and maybe 50 videos on YouTube and tens of thousands of words of content on my blog niche site project. So I'm just trying to make it clear that there's no pressure, even though Adrian is a student in the course. So Adrian and I talk about a few things. Obviously about a site, his approach to content, some of the conversion tips that he has for us. Additionally, we kind of go off on a tangent, and I gotta be honest, I was busting Adrian's chops a little bit, because he was talking about this link building method and strategy that he hasn't tried yet. All right, so he was talking about something that he hasn't executed and gotten results from, which is okay. I mean, I have talked about things before that I haven't done, but I just want to make it clear he and I just kind of go back and forth. We talk about some things conceptually, and I don't necessarily agree with the concept, the strategy. I'm sure you can get results if you executed it properly, but don't take what we mention in the interview as like a blueprint or anything like that. Do your own research, buyer beware, and all that kind of stuff. But moving on, we also talk about books that Adrian enjoys, mindset in general, and several other things. So do me a favor, have a look at some of the other videos after you finish watching this interview. If you enjoy this one, definitely check out Adrian's first interview. Additionally, there are several success stories from 2019, which are current as of like the late spring, early summer. Amazon affiliate sites do indeed still work, and I could ramble on forever, but instead I will just send it over to the interview. Thanks again to Adrian. Hey, what's going on? It's Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project, and I'm with my good friend here, Adrian. How's it going today?
Hey, nice to see you, and I'm really, really happy to be again for the second time.
Awesome. Yeah, and to that point, Adrian has been here before. Adrian is a student in the five-figure niche site course, which is cool, and he is a success story. He's been. When did you enroll in the course?
I believe it was August, September 2017,
Cool.
if I remember correctly.
Nice. So we're still here talking about it. So you're continuing to grow.
Yeah.
For the people that didn't see the first episode or didn't hear the first episode, can you give an intro, your background, where you're from, and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, originally I'm from Romania. I left Romania when I was quite young. I lived in Spain for about 10 years. Then the crisis hit Spain really badly, and I had to look for somewhere else to pursue my dreams. And for the last 7 or 8 years, I've been living in London. I'm working in the construction. I'm a daddy of a baby girl, 3 years old, and of a beautiful Brazilian woman.
Nice.
And yeah, and I work like 10, 12-hour shifts on a construction site. And when I finish, I come home, I stay a little bit with the family. And then at this time, for example, instead of being here with you guys, I'm on my website or doing research or learning stuff. And, that's
Cool.
that's my life.
Gotcha. So family man, working a full-time gig,
Yeah,
and working on affiliate sites on the side.
exactly.
Cool. So for reference point, I think when we talked last time, you were making about $100 a month, but it's been several months now. And
Yeah.
can you give us an idea of your current earnings right now. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. All right. We got some neighbors that moved in like upstairs, so it's a bit of a
George
mess.
is nervous.
Yeah, she her bark is so like sharp. So
she's a big dog, that's why, right?
She's about not really. She's like 40 pounds, but she just barks so fucking loud, and it's extremely irritating when I'm trying to record.
Oh
something.
yeah.
So
tell me about it.
Georgie, you're gonna make a little appearance here. Come here, come here.
Come here, girl.
All right,
Georgie.
So let me try that question again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
All right, so let me do a clean break here.
Yeah.
So for the people that didn't see the interview, the previous interview, you were making about $100 a month. Now, fast forward, it's several months later. What are your earnings at? Kind of where your traffic is, and all that kind of stuff.
So when I made first $100 was I was having like, I can't remember, but I believe it was 50, 60 people per day coming to the website. And I kept, writing, and I kept putting out the content. And now I believe 8 months after we did the first interview, I'm at about 640, 620 bucks per month. And traffic roughly is about 200, 220. It goes up and down, between 190 and 250 people per day.
Got it.
Okay. So yeah, that's
good.
Where we at.
And congratulations, a huge feat. And I think one thing I mentioned in the course and otherwise is the growth that you see after like month 1 or 2. Now, obviously, yeah. I mean, you've been doing this for a couple years, and it's not overnight by any means. But did you see like faster growth after you got past the sandbox period, stuff like that?
I think I did because, for example, I can't remember right now from the top of my head, but you'll probably see some screenshots that in December last year, January, I believe I was making $300. And then it just went up 400 and then straight to 600 plus. So, and as well that now all the posts that I was putting out there, because my site was gaining authority, if you want, and trust from Google, everything I was posting that was KGR compliant, it was boom, straight on page 1.
Nice.
Straight on page 1. So that helps a lot as well, because you don't have to start building links or any other. You don't basically. I didn't have to wait. Right. So that I believe that helped a lot with the traffic.
Cool. And for the people that don't know, KGR is the keyword golden ratio. A lot of what I talk about is based on the keyword golden ratio. So that's good to know that it's working well. And
very well. It's worked very well.
How much content do you have on your site right now?
There's 52 posts published.
Okay.
52 posts.
And in the first interview, I happen to remember you only had about 15 posts, 15. And you were making about $100 per month. So you've added, a handful more, a little more than 3x more, and you're making more than 3x, about $600. So it's working out well. And one thing, my observation is it takes some time for things to rank. Even if you publish, even if you're out of the sandbox, it takes a little while for them to creep up the SERPs and then for you to get the traffic and all that. So 50 posts. Now, are you writing it yourself? Tell us about your content approach.
I wish. You know what? I started to love writing. And people in the Facebook groups that I belong to, they sending me messages that, Adrian, you should dedicate yourself to this. But and I believe it's because the I love to write, and I love to put myself, my my own thought, into the text, and my personality, I want to say. So I do the same on my website. I have writers. I don't write any content because I don't have time for that. But I do have a very, very detailed SOP for my writers. So they know exactly what to do. They know exactly where to look for information. They know exactly what I want in the description, what I want in this section, that section. But I don't do it. So what I do instead is I ask them to make, for example, a 1,000 words article about best product for user. And then what I do, I just put in the introduction and in the conclusion, I just put my own personality into it. So I say, hey, everyone, welcome to blah, blah, blah. This is another post for you guys, that kind of stuff. So, make it a little bit more personal if you want. And people appreciate that.
Cool. All right. So you have a writer do about 1,000 words, and then you put the intro and the conclusion. So it has your own, spin. I mean, usually that's if people are going to skim, they'll read the intro and the outro.
Exactly.
All right. Great. And how much are you paying for content? Where'd you find your writers? All that kind of stuff.
I find my writers on Upwork. I know that many friends, they don't have luck with writers, but I believe like one of our friends, Marty, who suffers from that a lot, is just because I personally, I remember at the beginning when you said this to me, Adrian, you need to learn to get to not take control of things so much. You don't need to control everything. So I remember that, and since then I just, listen, take the article, do whatever you need with the article. What I'm asking, just make sure the information is good in terms of it's accurate. That's what I want. And then I take care of the rest. I just take care and put a phrase here, put a phrase there, and that's what I do. But then that's why I don't stress myself, because you're not gonna get the perfect writer, never. To put the perfect spin to your article, it's impossible. I even found a guy who's an American guy, and he was an electrician. I believe he was an electrician, but he just wanted to shift, and he started to write some articles, right? So because he was at the beginning, I found him, and I was paying him, I believe, $10 per 1,000 words, because obviously he needed reviews and I needed articles. Mm-hmm. So everybody wins. But he was so good. He was almost, perfect. But then he raised up his prices. And to be honest, I would still pay. Now he wants $20. But it makes sense for you to pay that kind of money if you want good content, right? If you don't want to spend your time correcting grammar issues or words that phrased awkwardly, especially for American readers or English readers in general. But that's what I do. I just go to Upwork, I post a job. Now lately I don't do it anymore because I already have my writers, but usually at the beginning I was posting. I believe I was using a template that you have from the training, and that's it. And by working with writers, what happened is that going back and forth, and tell them, hey, listen, I would like you to change this sentence here. I would like you, for example, when we get to the pros and cons section, I would like you to include as well some negative reviews or some negative points of that product. Or for example, when you make the introduction, I would like you to be a little bit more salesy, but not necessarily aggressive, So, say something like, I don't know, this product, it's amazing. It has more than 5,000 reviews on Amazon. So maybe that's why people like it. You know what? So check this link if you want to see more, if you want to find more details like price and all that kind of stuff.
Got it. So there was a mouthful. Let me quickly you mentioned, I think you mentioned SOPs earlier. That's standard operating procedures. Basically, it's a set of instructions for the writer or whomever, right? One thing you just mentioned, I need to point out, you're not allowed to do. All right. So you can't say there's X number of reviews. You can't say the rating is blah on Amazon. You can't do that. So, So no one do that. By the way, I just went through an audit. I just published the article today.
Really?
So, like about the audit and the stuff. And you can't reference things that may not be up to date when a person visits your site. They click through, can't do it. So anyway, I think it was just an example. So
it's good. Yeah.
Nothing specific.
It's good. I've seen some websites where they would say, in this case, for example, this is a great product. At this time, the time that we made the review, it had 5,000 reviews on Amazon, or something like that. But you obviously have to check the
So
TOCs.
Quick note. We're interviewing Adrian, of course, but I just want to make sure if someone stops listening, that I at least did my due diligence to tell people, if you see other sites doing whatever, that doesn't mean anything at all, ever.
Exactly.
All right. So if you're audited, right, and it's your livelihood and your money and all that stuff, you probably want to make sure you're following the rules 100%. Not you, Adrian, specifically, but one should. If you're making money, if you care, right? There's other ways to make money. Some people don't like Amazon, whatever, people do their thing. But if you see other sites, like at the time of blah, 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 the price was X, the rating was X. It doesn't matter if you have that disclaimer. Amazon's fairly strict, So people just be careful. And I'll put a link to the audit story that I have. I share all my templates. Have you had a look at it yet, Adrian, by the way?
I haven't, no.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know what you think. I haven't shared it with many folks, so it's just like people that like happen to have seen it. So anyway, let's get back on track because I'm just preaching at people here. So back on track. You have about 50 posts. You're making some money. You're having the content outsourced generally. You're paying reasonable rates, and now that you're starting to bring in more money, you're willing to pay a little bit more, but you already have some writers. So that's all cool. Anything interesting about your content or how you approach content that you want to share before we shift into another topic?
Well, one of the things that I've done in order to achieve this income now is not necessarily because I put more content out there, but because I went back to the posts that were ranking well, like position 1 to 3 or 1 to 5. And what I've done there, I took a course on copywriting as well, a mini course, right? It's not like 3 months training, but from Udemy. And what I've done is I have now a section, for example, I have the introduction, and then after 1 or 2 paragraphs of the introduction, I have a featured box, if you want, of the product. So I have an image, I have the title of the product, and then I have a very short sales pitch. Just a paragraph or 2 paragraphs saying why you should buy that product if you are in a rush, right? So you have top 10 products, and then before people go in those top 10 products, you have one for the people who are in a rush or they just want a quick, quick answer. So I've done that, and then as well I've added tables because I've added before that I had heat map .me, I believe it's called. It's a free one. And then I had it the other one that Neil Patel owns. What's the name of that one? Crazy Egg. Crazy Egg. Yeah. And I've seen what people does when they go on my website. So if I see them, most of them they would have stopped in at the beginning and at the end. Mm-hmm. They don't stop in the middle where I have these top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 products. They just stop at the top where I have the comparison table, and at the end where I in the conclusion, again I have a box where I remind the visitor which is the product that I choose for that list, and I have like some bars that I create with the shortcut plugin. It's putting some features. So, for example, I don't know, usability or comfort, and I put up a percentage. It makes it really nice and interesting for people. Mm-hmm. And I have another call to action at the end. So in that box, that's the last thing. The first thing they see, it's my feature box, and the last thing they see, it's another feature box if you want. Mm-hmm. that I believe that helped a lot with the conversions.
Okay. What's your conversion rate as reported on Amazon, for example?
Between 7 and 8.
Okay, cool. And then let's see, you mentioned tables. So how are you creating your tables? Are you using a plugin, making them from scratch?
Well, I used to use that free HTML table creator, mm-hmm. and that was really good for a long time because I learned a little bit of HTML. But now I'm using a how do you call it, a customized or custom made table. So there's a very good article on Authority Hacker, if I'm not wrong, where these guys they had Phillip mm-hmm. Revising their website and see what they can do to improve the conversions, and they have an example of a table that you guys can take as well and just go to Fiverr or somewhere, get a developer or a coder or whatever, mm-hmm. and show them, listen guys, I want something similar, can you make it for me? And mm-hmm. it's not going to cost you that much,
right?
But then you have a very, very good table, very presentable and mobile friendly, that will help a lot with the conversions.
Mm-hmm. So you had, basically it's an HTML table that you had someone design for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any reason you couldn't just do it yourself, like with a table generator and tweak the CSS?
Well, the problem with the table generator is that I couldn't fit enough columns mm-hmm. in the way that I wanted, and I couldn't put a button in the way that I wanted. And because I'm not very skilled in programming or whatever you call it, then I said, you know what, just do it for me.
Cool. Gotcha. So, and we'll put links for the Authority Hacker article, and then Phillip is a conversion rate specialist, and I think he has a company. I should reach out to him. I haven't talked to him in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
So
that'd be great.
Okay, cool. So basically, you don't use a plugin. You had a table custom made, and typically, I mean, that's I think probably the best scenario, right? Like you figured out the table, that you wanted. You wanted something super specific. So
Yeah.
So you had a developer work on it. But if someone was just like, hey, I don't have a budget, I don't know how to hire someone or whatever, then they could just do the HTML table generator, which is super easy to use.
Easy. And the thing that I most liked about that kind of table is that you could do anything with it. I mean, you can have H tags in it if you want. You can have headings inside. You can have pictures. You can have anything you want inside of those HTML tables. It took me some time, playing with it. But then what I realized is that for my website in particular, because 56% of my traffic comes from mobile. So for my site, I'm not necessarily interested in how it looks on desktop, since the majority comes from mobile and then tablet. But this HTML table creator, you wouldn't be able to put more than 2 columns without breaking it in mobile.
Right. And I think the real point here, and I bet there's an interview coming out sometime soon with Chris Pearson of DIY Themes. And it's like we consume information online differently than we used to. And yeah, most of the time, it depends on the site, but a lot of times you're getting a ton of traffic, maybe the majority from mobile. So you kind of have to have that in mind. And yeah, at some point it's like, I know you want to put more stuff, not you specifically again, but a person wants to put a bunch of stuff in the table, but no one cares. They just want to be able to like look at it on their phone, maybe while they're at a store, and like they're not on Wi-Fi. They're on like LTE or 4G or even 3G. If they're like, in a steel cage or whatever. But anyway, the point is they want it to load fast. They don't care about like your little formatted stuff in there, So
exactly.
Anyway, HTML, we spend a lot of time on this, but like people ask about plugins all the time. I hate plugins. I want fewer plugins. Usually they're trying to optimize for like the least common denominator, which ends up being like a pretty shitty solution. Thus, a custom solution is a good one. So having like someone like work on your table that you want to use every time, that's like the best scenario. Like that's the fastest like load time and all that stuff. Okay, cool. So as far as like formatting, you've spent time on the table. Do you use like some kind of just special like formatting and boxes and like different colors and all that kind of stuff, or are you simple?
I learned from you to keep it simple, what I do use in my, for example, I have the tables. I have a little header on the tables, so the header has the main website's color. So I try to make it consistent. That looks professional, if you keep it consistent. But I don't do anything other than that. I have a badge as well, custom made, from one of the friends made a badge for me. So when I have the picture of the product, I put this beautiful badge saying editor's choice, or best for this, best for that. Okay. That looks as well professional, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And people can go look at a site like Outdoor Gear Lab or like the Wirecutter, for example. They have similar little badges that you're talking about. So
exactly.
Cool. All right. So I think we covered content pretty well. If people have questions, you can leave comments or send emails, whatever. Next, link building. So when I talked to you before, I don't think you did much in the way of link building, right? Maybe I think you got like one guest post or something like that. So where are we at now as far as link building and outreach and all that?
If I tell you we're in the same place, do you believe me?
Yeah.
I haven't done any link building since last time we talked. We talked. not even blog comments, nothing. So I just put content out there, and because it's KGR compliant, you don't need basically the backlinks. What I do start to notice though is that my competitors are trying to obviously get my positions. So I believe that this is it's actually last week. It was the first time I started to think seriously about a backlink campaign.
Sure.
Just because of that, right? Because I have some pages that they've been on page on position number 1 for months, and now position 1, 3, 1, 2, go up and down. So I don't like that. I believe there's these bad boys trying to
Yeah.
knock me down.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny. I was just chatting with someone earlier, doing a little coaching call, and they're doing well, right? They're doing well with no links. And you and I were talking, Adrian, before we hit record. No one else knows, but basically we were talking about Ron Stefanski, who is he's obsessed with link building. He loves link building. Link building is a huge piece of the puzzle for him, right? Not everybody wants to do it, but I would guess. Well, actually, I'll ask you since I'm interviewing you. I mean, do you think you'd be making more money if you would spend more time building links to your site?
Not necessarily. What I will have to do first, I will have to rethink my strategy now, because I'm learning more and more, especially in SEO. We were talking just before we went live. What I have to do now, because we are targeting long tail keywords, and you do mention this in the course, but at the time I didn't understand what you meant. And now, things are coming together, even if it's long time after that, but I didn't pay attention to it because I was seeing results just by ranking those easy keywords. And what I need to do now is, because my site is full of best product for user or informational types, like how to use this product, how to use that product. So what I need to do now is, as you say in the training as well, you need to get your main keyword, the focus keyword, the big one, 2,000 monthly searches, whatever. And then I need to make this one the top silo, the top of the silo. I don't know if you use siloing in your business, but this is what I'm learning from SEO now. You need to if you build silos in this way, so you have best microphone, then you'll start to build supporting articles like best microphone for podcasting, best microphone for YouTube, best microphone for this, for that. And then you have all these supporting articles that will point to your main big keyword. So once you start making money from these low hanging fruits, then you start to point links to these low hanging fruits that will pass the juice up to your main keyword. So over time, you're going to start ranking for this big one, is where the big money will come. That's my new understanding of how I should build my website is now. Okay. I hope it makes sense.
Sure. I know what you're talking about. Now, is it cool if we just have a little discussion?
Yeah.
All right.
Go on.
So, number one, in unit, by the way, first disclosure, right? So I have a course called 5-Figure Niche Site. Adrian's a student of the course. It worked for him. He's doing well, right? You don't have to take the course. A lot of this is available on my blog, Niche Site Project. There's a lot on YouTube. I'll tell you though, it's a mess to put it together.
It is. It is, yeah.
Because there's too much, all right? However, if you want to check out the course, that's great. If not, that's fine. It is totally okay. In unit 4, 4 on content, I do talk about what silos are. And it's like a deliberate way to architect your site and to deliberately link in an intentional way. But it is at times, especially when you're first starting your site, difficult to architect it, predict what you're going to be doing in the future, say 6 months from now. And what happens most of the time is you start with a plan, you start with a nice plan, you try to do it, and then 6 months later, you have like a weird mess of pages and child posts and all that stuff. So in Unit 4, I do describe this process, and then I'm like, you don't need to do it. What you need to do is interlink intentionally. So just make sure you get a ton of interlinks. Now, the discussion thing, now that we got the baseline information out of the way, Adrian, you're saying you can't build links until you do this silo stuff? And I disagree. I mean, a silo is fine. But I mean, why wouldn't a link, let's say you're ranking number 1 or number 2 for a particular term. Let's say it gets 1,000 searches per month. Let's say you link to it. Is there a reason why that link wouldn't be helpful versus like doing this architecture? I feel like they're independent. One is site architecture. One is links, which are good by themselves. So what do you think?
No, the idea is that you won't be able to rank for these big keywords right from the beginning. So I do remember in your training you would telling us to take 2 big keywords if we could find 2, and then loads of low-hanging fruits, KGR compliant, would be even better. So the idea is that you can't point, for example, links from a big or powerful PBN, if you want, to your money page directly. So you don't want to kill this big money page here that you have. So what they teaching us,
who's they?
You know, what I've learned from Clint Butler, for example, in SEO this week, it's a show that you guys need to see if you want to learn SEO. If you have to point backlinks to these supporting pages, just in case one of these links are not good and they're gonna get you in trouble, then you just cut them off, and this page will still remain without any trouble. So that's the idea of the silo.
But isn't it on your site anyway? So you're putting bad links to your site, like anyway.
Well,
is that
what?
I'm not sure I follow 100%.
Well, probably I'm not 100% explaining either properly, but that's what I understand is that if you point a PBN link that you probably don't know how to check if it's good or not, right? If you buy if you acquire a black link, right? And then you point it to, you don't want to point it to the best microphone article. You want to point it to the best microphone for podcast, for example.
Sure.
Right. And that if let's say Google catch you because it's a I don't know, whatever, bad link from a bad website, from a bad neighborhood, then you just cut that website, that page, right?
Okay. All right. And we'll move on for everybody in a second. So PBN is a private blogging network. Gray hat. Google doesn't like it. Here's the problem with, I mean, you could rank with PBNs, all that stuff does work. Web 2.0, like if you know how to use the tools, you can do it. By the way, just quick clarification. I don't recommend any of this stuff in my course. I don't recommend it to anyone. Adrian, it sounds like you're not even doing any of this, right?
I'm not.
Okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
So maybe this is my fault as an interviewer. I steered us in a direction. I got you talking about stuff that you've never actually done before. You've only heard other people talking about it, right?
Yeah, but it's something that I will start implementing.
Okay. So here's the flaw in the argument you just made.
Yeah.
So let's say I have PBN links that I've purchased, all right? And I'm pointing them to my silo child pages. I have a big post on WordPress silos. So if someone is unclear, you can just Google WordPress silos niche site project. You'll find it. So anyway, if you have say a handful of bad links from a PBN that you've purchased links from, and they're going to your child pages, and then Google penalizes your site, right? Then you're in the same position if you just sent the links to the page you were trying to rank anyway. Now, it's not to say it's not useful to have links going to like pages on your site, but it's like you're not siloing yourself off from anything. Like you're not doing anything. Like you're sending links to your site, and you could disavow them, right? You could disavow them. That's totally cool. You can have the links removed, whatever, but like you're not, I guess, segregating the risk on an outside basis. Did I miss something? Like,
I don't think I don't think you missed something. It's just that the way I understood it is probably I didn't get the full picture.
Okay.
It's just that you know what I mean. It's you can cut the page that it's the problem.
But your whole site, if you get busted for unnatural links, your whole site is affected. So you can't cut the page. You can disavow the link, sure, but you could do that regardless. So
I believe there are two types of penalties, right? There's penalty versus links and penalty versus site, right?
Yeah.
So
do you want to be mixed up in either one?
No, not really.
Right.
But I guess it's part of the game, right?
Yeah. So, and anyway, I did all that stuff at some point, and then I was like, you know what? Yeah, there's other ways to do it. Okay, thanks everyone for indulging us, and thanks Adrian for me. I was just busting your balls here because I was like, this doesn't make sense. And this is actually go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all good. I'm saying that's all good.
Okay. And I think it underscores a very important point. All right. So Adrian, you're smart. You're executing. You're doing things. And we'll wait for the second part. No, and you're doing things, but you were just like telling us a strategy that you have not yet executed yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
And this is the internet, all right? So like there's people all over the place. A lot of them are in blog comments, or comments on YouTube are very popular too, where it's like someone will go off. Facebook groups huge for this too. Someone will go off and talk about like something that they don't really know anything about.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you don't know anything. It's just you had not executed.
I haven't applied it. Exactly. I haven't applied it.
And once you get out there and you do it once, and then you repeat it and you do it again, and then you're like, okay, there's some data we could share here. So anyway, so you haven't done much link building.
That's the great thing, I guess, for me, is that I'm not afraid to apply anything, right? So I believe that's why I went a little bit ahead of some of the guys that they started in affiliate marketing or any internet marketing, is that I go and follow someone and I listen to their advice. I go and apply it, just like I did in your case. I went through your course. I applied everything you said, and now I'm learning a little bit more in-depth SEO, which involves backlinking, involves you buying links, acquiring links, whatever. And I'm not afraid to, step, with the left foot or whatever into this new strategy, right? I have to apply it before I say something that, oh yeah, it works or not. I have to apply it for myself. That's how I learn, basically.
Indeed. Well said. All right, we had to take a little break. Georgie was, making some noise, so I went to check on her. Now, let's change gears over to like mindset kind of stuff. And, first off, you actually sent me some notes So I'll give you credit for helping me out with the interview here. And you mentioned the importance of thinking big and having the right mindset. So can you explain more?
Yeah, I've been almost 2 years into this, and I've seen many people. I've talked to many people. Actually, since I've done the first interview with you, that was, what happened. I had to change some things, if you remember, because people were reaching out to me too much and biting from my already limited time. And that was nice because I wanted to help people. But the thing is, they have the wrong vision. They have the wrong mentality when they come into this, because they want to. There was a question the other day saying, how can I make $6,000 per month in my first month in affiliate marketing? I mean, come on, really?
Yeah.
So people, they I don't know if they so desperate that they want to succeed that much, which is my case, right? But you need to understand that everything takes time, and this is there's no difference between creating an online business or creating a brick and mortar business. It's the same thing. You need to learn the ins and outs of a business. You need to learn how it works, basically. I mean, when I started with you, I didn't know what WordPress is. I didn't know where to buy a domain. I didn't know anything. So they need to learn. They have to have the basics, and they need to understand that if you get into affiliate marketing, doesn't matter if it's you create websites, if you create YouTube channels, whatever you do, you need to understand that it's gonna take you some time before you actually see some results, like positive results. I mean, I remember after 3 weeks I launched my website. There was a sale, and I believe it was close to Christmas time, and there was a 50 cents commission, right?
Mm-hmm.
On my website. And I showed that to my wife, said, look, love, I've been working for the last 4 months, and look, this is my results. And she almost laughed me, right?
Yeah.
But you need to, if you do understand that, and this will be another good point to bring up, Doug, is that you need to read books. Because actually, can I say something about books now? Reading books is going to open your mind to so many things. It will make you understand how these people that before us, they were like just guys like me. I know a guy that was in construction, now is making $500,000 per year or something from internet marketing. So sometime in the past, these guys, they were just like you and me, right? They were working hard, but then we are fed up of our bosses. I can't stand anymore to go to work, right? Because I need to fight with these people because, anyway. So reading books, these guys, they say that success leaves trails. So they will teach you how to teach your brain, your mentality, how to think big, what to do in order to, how do I say this word? Sorry, I forgot the word, Doug. How to motivate yourself, right? Because I remember when I started the course with you, the first email you sent to us, it was like, write down your goals. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? And why do you want to do it? Right? And people, they don't really have this kind of things in their head when they look, for example, on YouTube, how to make money online. They just want to make money online. But if you put your goals on paper, if you have a big vision, if you work on your mentality, that's gonna help you a bunch.
Okay.
So going back to the point, if you want, thinking big will help you. Um, you probably heard this many times. Oh, I need a change in my career, or I need to rethink my business. It's because when this happens, it's because people, they had a small mentality, they had small goals, right? Because when you start a business, they had, for example, oh, I want to make, I don't know, 5,000, and I don't want to have a boss. Well, when they reach that level, that's the ceiling for them, right? So once you get there, I mean, most of the people will say 2,000, because I heard that I just want to make $2,000. So what that after that, you need to think big, because otherwise you're not gonna get motivated.
I think another way to put it, I see what you're getting at, is that you don't want to sell yourself short and not, we don't understand the potential that we have, right? No one does usually. And you could do way more. So if you think a little bigger, like, it's a little more interesting. And
much interesting.
Yeah. And let's see here. So you mentioned, I just want to talk about one thing that you said at the very beginning there, around, people that are like, hey, how can I make, $10,000 a month in 2 months without any startup cost? And it's like, I have no idea.
If you find out, please let me know.
Yeah.
Right?
There's really no legal thing you can do. And there's probably very few illegal things you could do that quick also. So if you have to ask the question like that, like basically, you have to recalibrate like how you're thinking about things. So everything takes time. All right. So one of the other points you mentioned that you want to talk about is networking and having a mastermind group. So how's that played a role for you?
Oh, that was amazing. That was, having a mastermind group. And I remember, I don't know if you want to share this, but this mastermind group, you were the one who put it together, right? With the other boys from the training.
Yeah.
So, that was a really, really nice thing to happen for me and for the boys as well, is because if you don't have someone to share these things every single day, what I've experienced, not necessarily from my point of view, but from other people as well, is that if you don't have someone to share, your stress, your headaches, your winnings and losses and everything, you will quit very, very soon, because you feel you feel alone. I believe that's the story from most of us. So the mastermind group is that, the way it helped me is that I share my let's say I have a good month and I share it with the boys, and everybody, oh yeah, well done, Adrian, good. It's good for motivation, right? It's good for for people to cheer you up and all that. And then the same thing happens when I have a shitty day, and they'll say, don't worry, Adrian, it's good. You've done it before, you can do it again. It's all good, mate. Just carry on. Just go and watch a movie now, and forget about your business. Just go and watch a movie and then come back later, right? Mm-hmm. So all this is so powerful, because in the Facebook groups that I belong to, this is the story across everybody. Oh, I started last year, and then for whatever reason I stopped, and 6 months later, oh, I want to try it again, but I can't do it for some. I don't find the motivation.
Do you mean what do you mean try it? A mastermind group or starting a business?
No, it's like the general people in general.
They want to start a endeavor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some of them, they've started, right? They have a website, but they abandon it, and then they want to come back, but they don't have motivation. Whereas if you have someone like we had with the boys, like every 2 weeks we had a Skype call, mm-hmm. and we go through what we have done these last 2 weeks. What was your winnings? What were your losses? Do you need any help with anything? This is really, really powerful. I'm sure you have your mastermind as well at another level, and it's really, really powerful thing.
And for the people that don't know, mastermind group, usually it's like a group of people that are working on a similar, set of things. Usually, usually it's not like direct competitors. It's not going to work out.
No, it's not.
And yeah, you get together periodically, however often you want, once a week, every 2 weeks, once a month, once a quarter, whatever you want to do. You meet, you could talk about whatever you want. You could just chat about things. You can have a more structured meeting like I suggested to you and the crew, where I'm just like, talk about your recent, good things that happened, something you're struggling with, and blah, blah, blah. You can talk about whatever you want, basically. And like you said, it gives some camaraderie. You're able to chat with people, bounce some ideas, because a lot of times you're too close to whatever it is you're thinking about to look at it objectively, and other people can look at it like with a clear set of eyes. And the last thing, which you were alluding to, is accountability. So you could say, I'm going to execute X, Y, Z, and someone's holding you to it. So that's where like some external motivation, some people are like motivated by other accountability to other folks outside their normal, outside their brain, right? Some people are just self-motivated. And just quick note, I don't put together any mastermind groups. I have no interest in putting together mastermind groups. If anyone sends me an email, I probably will just ignore it. So I just be a hub. If someone's interested, put together your own mastermind group. That's what I did. I put together most of the mastermind groups I've been a part of, because it's good to have an organizer. And if you could do that, most people will show up. Or you can probably get people. I did this. You can get people that are ahead of you if you're willing to do the organization. And I put together the group that you're in. I just introduced people. I was like, hey, you guys are at the same level, roughly. Like, you can chat with each other, do whatever you want, and I'm out. I didn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Other than that. So
exactly. But it's really, 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 really good. So if you guys watching this, just go on the Facebook groups that you belong to and find 2 or 3 people, but they need to, here's the secret, Doug. These guys, if you are the beginners, just like myself, you need to find guys that they want it as badly as you or even more. All right. I don't know. Yeah. No. Forget about those guys. Just go in. You need to have people who are going to be able to push you up, to build you up, right? Don't waste your time with people who kicking tires all day long. No. Just, that's the secret, I believe, in my opinion. These people they need to want it as badly as you.
Definitely, yeah. Similar motivation level, similar business experience level, and
similar vision.
Yeah, like that works well. And then of course personality has to match up a little bit, but I mean, I know I've been in mastermind groups where my personality didn't match up that well, but like we were doers, right? We were executing stuff. So it's like that can take care of a lot of personality issues potentially.
Yeah.
So, okay. You talked a little bit about books earlier, which is cool. I'm actually become a reader. I was not much of a reader before, but I read a lot now. Do you have any favorites, that maybe 2 or 3 that you really enjoy?
Well, I'll tell you what, my first book I read my first book 2 years ago. So, I wasn't a reader myself, but here's one.
I have that. It's a little amazing. Out of focus because we're using the blur thing. Hold it right next to your face. There you go. The one thing. Perfect.
It's good. Yep. This one here.
The E-Myth Revisited.
Yeah. Do you know this one?
I know of it. I haven't read that one, but I understand the cliff notes. Why don't you tell the people what like the main point of each one of those?
This one here, it's talking about small businesses, and how to it's talking about how to organize a business. How he sees a person, like three persons actually: dreamer, the doer, and the manager, right? So all these three people lives inside you. So you need to kind of get all these three guys together and work, to see to put a business, um, to become actually an entrepreneur, and how to be a dreamer, how to be the guy who does the things at the same time, and basically how to be many people in one business.
Is that the book that has it emphasizes setting up systems so that you can grow the business and not be stuck as a doer?
Exactly.
Okay, that's the main point, right?
Yeah, he's telling you how not to become the guy who's in the business all day long, and actually work outside the business, work on your business, not in it.
Right.
So he's talking about the McDonald's, franchise and all that kind of stuff. And he's teaching you how to create systems, as you said, to put other people to work for you if you want. Or the turn, how they call it, the turn business. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Cool. So work on your business, not in your business.
Exactly.
Quick little analogy is like, let's say you have a lawn care business and you started it yourself. In fact, if someone wants to make $6,000 a month right away, go out, start cutting grass or shoveling snow or whatever. Like, you probably can make some good money with physical labor. However, if you want to grow past that, you cannot be the one cutting the grass or shoveling the snow. You need to hire some people. You need to have the system down, and then you can get more business and then scale. Now, there's ups and downs, downsides for that sort of model as well. But the idea is you got to grow your business. You can't be stuck in it. So
exactly. So this is where the outsourcing part in our model of business comes in, right? So if you want to just be here and receive the money and dedicate yourself to other stuff, then you have to put these systems in place for your writers, for your content editors, for keyword researchers or web developers, whatever,
Sure.
So cool. It's a really, really good book.
Nice. And then moving on to organization. So you sound like a busy man. You got the family. You have a very demanding job. So how are you staying organized and productive?
All right. Well, I said this in my first interview. I have here in the kitchen, I have a big white board, and I know that I have like 1 or 2 hours when I come at night, like now, and then sometimes I wake up earlier before I go to work and maybe stay 1 hour or 2 hours as well. So before the week starts for me, I put already some tasks on the whiteboard. So I say I want this. I'll put the 4 big ones that I want to achieve that month. So I'll say I want. For me, big means I have 4 posts published. That's a big goal for me, right? For the guys, so limited time, that's a big goal. So then I break those 4 tasks, or it's one task basically, having 4 articles, but then I break them into little steps. So I say, well, today I need to create the tables. So I'm just gonna create the tables on Monday. On Tuesday, create a picture. On Wednesday, create a video, because I do videos as well for my YouTube, for my website. So I break them down very, very little steps because I know I can do it. If I'm just gonna put I don't know, this month we need to publish 4 articles, I don't know if I'm going to be motivated to kind of, come here every night, because I don't know what to do either. you know how easy it is to get distracted, and especially as I told you earlier, that people reach out and ask you, oh, can you have a look at my website? What would you do here? Where you buy your links or things like that, and you get distracted. So I just put one little task per day that I'm sure that I'm gonna achieve it. So that's how I stay productive.
Okay. So quick summary. So you have a whiteboard, you write your monthly task on there. Usually it's like one thing per week, one large task per week. And then you break it down into smaller tasks that you execute each day, because you have 1 to 2 hours each evening.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Very straightforward, very simple. Just a whiteboard. I'm sure you could do it in a notebook or post-it notes or whatever.
Yeah, the thing is, I like it to be in a whiteboard, because as I come in the kitchen, I look at that whiteboard every single time I get here. So I need to get a glass of water, I see my tasks. I need to come back for something to eat, I see the tasks. So I'm always seeing those things that they need to they need to get done. That's a secret as well that I've learned from these books. Keep reminders, keep things in your sight. That will help a lot, because otherwise, as I said, with the distractions, it's so easy to forget.
Yep. And even with just like the goals and stuff like that, this works on many different levels. As you mentioned at the beginning of the course, I ask people to like write down your goals, be specific why, all that kind of stuff. And
Exactly.
One of our friends, Marty, he actually has like a framed, actually different goals that he's set, where it's like $500 a month, $1,000, 2,000, and he's actually like written them down. They're on like somewhere he could see them every day, and he has them framed.
Exactly.
So
can I show you something?
Yeah, what do you got?
Ta-da!
Very nice. Again, we got the blur action going on. Back it up just a little.
Towards me, like this.
Yeah, that's good.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, $100 per month, and then you got your $500 per month. That's fantastic.
And now this is the goal for the next month or two.
$1,000 per month. Awesome. Yeah. And it's like
I stole it from Marty. Thanks, Marty.
The cool thing with, I know some people are at different levels, of course, and it's like whatever amount, $50 per month, 100, 1,000, 10,000 per month seems like so far off, but it's like, as long as you keep moving forward, like every single person that has continued to try, there's some survivorship bias there, I'm sure, but everyone that has continued to try, like always like reaches some success and figures things out. So it's like, if you keep
100%.
going, like you can do it.
So. Exactly. I mean, it's just like you said, as well as, and with the goals that I set myself every day, if you set them small, they're doable. Psychologically, they're doable too. If you set up yourself a huge goal, just like the One Thing book, Gary Keller is talking about, if your goal is to reach that top of the mountain, all of the sudden, then you won't be probably very enthused about it. But having small goals that will take you closer to your bigger goal, then it's going to be, as well, it's going to help you every time you achieve this small goal. It's going to help you how do I say, personally, right?
The small wins are important psychologically.
Yeah. I mean, you feel like, oh God, I've done something good, right? I feel productive. I feel productive. And that what keeps me going every single day, every single night. I come here to the laptop, do some work, little work, whatever I do, even if it's just a picture. I do the picture, it looks good, go to sleep,
Making progress every day.
Exactly. I'm closer to the goal.
Awesome. Cool. So last thing we have here is around YouTube. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, that's something that I'm thinking for I was thinking already for some time, but the more active I am in the Facebook groups, the more people are telling me this, that I should. And I know this is a bad idea, right? I've read this in a book as well. Don't do things just because someone is telling you you should do it. That doesn't mean you're gonna be good at it, right? But the thing is, I like to talk about this, and I love to even in the mastermind group, I take the I talk a lot, and I would love to have a YouTube show for beginners, all right, like myself, where we can talk about things that we learn, and there are some people that are less experienced than me, so if they have a question specific that I can help with, then I can show them, I can make a screen share and I can show them how to do it, right? And obviously it's just an idea at the moment, but hopefully in 2 or 3 months time, if I have the necessary time, I don't know where I'm gonna get it from. But I would love to start this YouTube channel in about 2 months time. And it's going to be like share about as well trainings that we do, and they are good because there's many people, they have many trainings and many tools and many people teaching a lot of stuff, but not necessarily they're good. So in my opinion, I will always share your training because it helps me a bunch.
Thanks.
It opened my mind to a new thing, and I believe this is really helpful for people, especially when you started, because you don't have money, you don't know anything about this. Where you gonna go, right?
Right. So it's like helping new internet marketers and bringing them like trustworthy information where you're just not trying to sell them something or whatever.
Exactly. Okay. And do you know what? I've seen many people on Facebook groups that I stay and answer questions and all that. People invest stupid amounts of money in websites. They don't understand the basics of having a website, and they invest stupid amount of money, like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, and then don't understand what the hell they're doing. So sometimes I feel sad about that, right? So I just want stop. Don't put that money there yet. Let's talk about this first, right? I mean, is their money? They do whatever they want. But when I started, if I had someone to take me closer to you quicker, then probably I would have been free by now. Right. I would have been free by now.
Right. Cool. Well, yeah, keep us posted on the channel and stuff, and happy to, whenever the time comes, right? Like, we can add a link to this video. I'm not sure when anyone's going to be watching it. Or a link to the podcast. It's going to be in both places. So
exactly.
Cool. All right. Any other thoughts? Any advice to people who are thinking about getting started with Amazon sites?
Yeah, and I have. There's one thing that we I believe we touched, but I'm not sure if we touched enough. It's if you start now, you need to you have to join the some Facebook groups that are free. Some of them are paid, but many are free, where you have many people with a lot of knowledge that can give you some information, as I said earlier, before you actually spend some big money on training or buying websites or anything. Learn first, and because when I started, I was following Doug like for 2 or 3 months, so I watched all his videos. There's no video on his YouTube channel that I haven't seen. Excuse me.
Thank you for the support. Yeah.
100%. I mean, it's good content, guys, and it's free. So do this. Join Facebook groups that are free. Watch Doug YouTube channel. It's loads of free information. And since you go to these YouTube, Facebook groups, don't forget to network with people, put your name out there, because people are watching, and people more experienced than you. Like happened in my situation is that people, they saw me, and I forgot to mention this to you, Doug, but I've got 2 invitations to be a once SEO apprentice for a big
SEO
company.
apprentice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that how you call it in the US? SEO apprentice or internship?
Sure. Either one is applicable. Yeah.
So these guys, they saw my comments, they seen that I'm active and all that, and they reached out to me on Facebook privately, and they said, "Well, Adrian, why don't you apply for this position?" And because my time is so limited, they wanted someone initially part-time, but then full-time. So I couldn't compete with the other guys.
Sure.
And then there's another situation where I talked to you before we went live, Doug, that there is another big guy in SEO who his name is. Can I mention his name, Doug?
Let's not in this specific case, but we'll follow up afterwards and potentially put a link. Yeah.
To his website. Gotcha. So he saw me in Skype asking questions as well, because I need answers as well, a lot. And he reached out to me as well and said, Adrian, I've been watching you for some time. I like what you say. I like your questions as well. Why don't we get together and let's have a coffee, because we both in London. Mm-hmm. And from there, what happened is that I end up having maybe I should not say this. Mm-hmm. Maybe this part we could cut this part.
Okay, well let's because I don't want to edit much.
Yeah,
but I was going to say, basically, the point that you're trying to make is, if you put yourself out there and you're part of a community, then opportunities can find you. Right? That's what you're trying to say.
There you go.
Okay.
You have a better way to put things than me.
I'm a native English speaker.
There you go.
So it's and I talk a shitload for work. So I try to communicate better. I went to underscore a couple things that you just mentioned. So you're saying put yourself out there. You recommend Facebook groups. Me personally, I hate Facebook. For some people, it works fine. I don't even spend time in my own I have a Facebook group for the course, and I only hop in there in brief amounts because Facebook will suck you in. However, because then some people like Facebook, respect it, right? Do your thing in Facebook. Look out, there's crazy people, right? In Facebook. Facebook's there to literally distract you from things you're supposed to do. So you have to use it as a tool. So if you approach it that way, I think it can be fine. I just shut it out. I'm better that way. Now, another approach could be to start a YouTube channel, right? If you become an influencer or a blog, or fill in the blank, if you become a person, right, who is saying interesting things and doing interesting things, you also can get, we'll call it like a seat at the table. People will see that you're doing interesting things. So you have to find like what works for you. You like Facebook, and it you crushed it in that way, because I saw the activity that you have in my Facebook group, for example. And the one plug I'll give, the Human Proof Designs Facebook group. Human Proof Designs, Dom Wells, the crew over there. I'm not even sure who's doing what these days, but you got Brad, you got some other folks. I forget the new CEO over there, but the Human Proof Designs Facebook group is really good. A lot of smart people there. A lot of overlap. I think Marty and Adrian are active in that group, as well as all the crew from Human Proof.
They're very active. Yeah, Alex, Alejandro, Kelvin, Brad, as you said, Dom as well.
The whole crew.
In. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I forgot Kelvin. Sorry, I forgot your Kelvin and Alex. Yeah, I know all the folks. So Very cool. Well, thanks a lot, Adrian. And for people that are watching the YouTube video, you can leave questions in the comments. And Adrian's pretty active in YouTube in general, on the channel and all that stuff. And then if you have any questions, you can, and you're on the podcast, you can email them to me, and I can, put them out there. It sounds like Adrian likes to talk, as we know.
A lot.
So I'm pretty sure we can do a Q&A in the future once we get a few questions out there. So
yeah,
really appreciate the time. I know you're, like I said, a busy man, and I know you don't have much time to work on the business. So I appreciate you taking the time this evening.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Doug.
Thanks again to Adrian. Really appreciate the time. I know he's very busy. He doesn't have a lot of time to do extra things. So we chatted for about 2 hours during that conversation. So thank you, Adrian. If you do want to hear more from Adrian, if you have any questions for him, just leave comments below. Let me know you want to see him again. Let me know what questions you have for him. I'm pretty sure Adrian's probably going to see him anyway. But the point is, let me know if you want to see more from Adrian, and just leave a comment. Please leave a comment. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks.